Yeah. This ain't for small talk, no casual lines. It's for the messages we type but never hit send in time. The draft folder full of ghosts, the words we needed most, left hanging in the silence where the love was once close. I see your name in my throat, still tight, still feel the fire from the words I couldn't write. I kept it soft, I played it safe, but the truth don't fade, it just hides its face. Dear friend, can we talk? Not the fake kind, not the polite, I mean the midnight kind. They am not alright, the mirror truth that don't dress up nice. Dear friend, can we talk? Let me say what I held too long. I swallow pain just to stay strong, but healing starts when we admit we're wrong. I practice what to say in the shower steam, had the whole damn speech but lost it in the scene. I said it's cool when it burned like hell, that's a wound you know too well. Had dinner with regret and pride, but never myself. My voice went quiet but my chest stayed loud. The truth kept knocking but I turned it down. They called me too deep, too much, too soft, but soft don't mean lost, it just means I fall. Dear friend, can we talk? You ever hold something inside you so long it starts to rot?
Welcome to Dear Friend with Blended Healing.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show, Dear Friend. You've been quiet long enough, so let's unpack
it. Dear friend, can we talk? Can I pour this truth? Dear friend.
On tonight's episode of Dear Friend,
I'm talking about the person who walked away from family gatherings frustrated, confused, irritated, or sitting in the car afterward replaying the whole conversation in their head, trying to figure out what just happened. The person who keeps saying,
have you ever said, why can't we just talk about it, only to watch the conversation turn into an argument, a guilt trip, a history lesson, a shouting match, or complete avoidance? You went looking for understanding and somehow ended up defending yourself instead.
The younger person says, why can't we just talk about it?
Why can't we just talk about it?
Because you never listen.
I am listening.
You don't know what
Here comes the lecture
after
again.
all I've sacrificed.
You always make it about you.
Because it was about me.
You need to watch the conversation turn into an argument, a guilt trip.
We're talking about emotionally immature parents. What that looks like in real life. How it affects children long after they become adults. Why so many families keep having the same arguments over and over.
Complete avoidance. The person who went looking for understanding and somehow ended up defending themselves instead. Welcome to Dear Friend. We are unpacking this tonight.
Dear friend, you have been quiet long enough, so let's unpack it. Tonight's letter is for the people who leave family functions shaking their head all the way home, who sit in the car for a minute before pulling off because they're trying to figure out how a 5-minute conversation turned into all of that, who went looking for a conversation and then somehow ended up in an argument. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You bring something up that's been bothering you, not disrespectfully, not even screaming, just trying to talk. And the next thing you know, the whole conversation then took a turn left. How you are hearing about everything that they went through, everything they sacrificed, and everything they had to deal with. And nobody ever gets back to what you were talking about in the first place. Then you leave wondering, hold up, did my question ever get answered? Y'all know exactly what this feels like. Matter of fact, some of y'all stopped bringing things up years ago because you already knew where the conversation was going to go. Somebody going to get defensive, take it personal, bring up something 15, 20, 30 years ago that had absolutely nothing to do with what's being talked about now. Or worst case scenario, they were going to act like nothing happened and expect everybody to move on. You see, families got a way of acting like things disappear just because nobody talks about it. The problem happens, everybody gets upset. Folks stop speaking for a little bit, and then somebody shows up at the next cookout, birthday party, holiday gathering, and everybody acts like the issue magically disappeared, like it packed its own bags and left. Meanwhile, everybody is still holding on to it. That's why some of these arguments keep showing up year after year, wearing different clothes. The reality is, some people never learn how to have the hard conversations. They didn't learn how to hear something that they don't like without taking it as an attack. They never learn how to listen without immediately preparing a defense. They call that usually listen enough to speak, you know. They never learn how to sit with somebody else's feelings without making the conversation all about them. And when you raised around that, you start thinking it's normal. That every disagreement got to become a fight. That every question sounds like disrespect, and that everybody has boundaries that means somebody's being difficult. And then you get older and you realize, hold up. Healthy conversations are not supposed to work like this. That's why we're having this conversation tonight. Because emotionally immature parents don't just affect children when they're young. That stuff follows people, man. It shows up in different relationships, and even at work. It shows up every time somebody tries to express themselves and immediately starts wondering if they should have just kept their mouth shut. So tonight, we talking about it. We're talking about emotionally immature parents and what that really looks like in everyday life. How it affects people long after the childhood is over. Why some families keep having the same arguments for decades, and why some of y'all been questioning yourselves when maybe that was never the real issue to begin with. Welcome to Dear Friend. Let's talk about it. Welcome.
Hey, yeah. Late night rain on the window pane, purple shadows dancing in my brain. Candles burn while the world sleeps deep, and the quiet truths don't stay asleep. Soft lips talking through velvet smoke. Every word.
What happens when the person who was supposed to help you understand your emotions never really learned how to deal with their own? It's about growing up with a parent who could provide food, shelter, and the basics, but struggled with communication, accountability.
It's about being the child who learned to walk on eggshells, choose their words carefully, avoid certain topics, or keep their feelings to themselves because every conversation felt unpredictable.
Tonight's letter It's about what happens when the person who was supposed to help you figure life still trying to figure themselves out. It's about growing around somebody who could take care of certain responsibilities but couldn't handle certain conversations, who could tell you what to do but couldn't always explain why, and who wanted respect but struggled when it came time to listen or even give respect back, who expected understanding from everybody else but had a hard time giving it back. It's about being the kid who learned real quick when to speak and when to keep their mouth shut, who started choosing their words carefully because they never knew how the conversation was going to go, and who also learned that bringing up a problem sometimes created a bigger problem. For a lot of people, that didn't stop when childhood ended. This letter is for the grown adult who's trying to figure out why every conversation felt so damn complicated. Why simple questions turned into arguments, and bringing up your feelings became a discussion about everybody else's feelings, and why you walked away from conversations confused, frustrated, or even feeling like you needed to apologize for something that you weren't even trying to do. Most of all, this letter is about what follows people long after they leave home. Second guessing, feeling like they got to explain themselves in 10 different ways just to be understood. The habit of replaying conversations in your head afterwards, and that you're responsible for everybody else's reaction. What happens when that finally stops? You ask yourself a question. Was I really difficult to talk to? Or was I trying to take responsibility of having a conversation with someone who didn't know how to have one? Let's read this letter together. This may be a trigger warning. This is about emotionally immature parents, and the letter is from a child to a parent.
Dear parent, I'm just going to go straight off the gate. You know what used to mess me up growing up? I never knew when I was actually going to be heard. And that's the simplest way I can say that. Somehow by the end of a conversation, we wasn't even talking about what I was talking about. We were talking about what you had going on, why life was hard, what somebody did to you, your reasons, your intentions, and everything except the thing I came to talk about. Every time I tried to tell you how something felt to me, it seemed like I ended up explaining why I had a right to feel that way. Every conversation felt like I had to prove real old. The things I was trying to tell you never made it past your defense system. That had an impact on me, and that's the truth. I love you, but love doesn't erase pretending something didn't affect me, won't heal it either.
Dear parent, I'm just going to go straight off the gate. You know what used to mess me up growing up? I never knew when I was going to actually be heard. That's the simplest way I can say that. I could come to you trying to talk about something that happened at school or that happened in the house, or something somebody said to me, or something that was bothering me. And somehow, by the end of the conversation, we wasn't even talking about that no more. We were talking about what you had going on, about why life was hard, and we were talking about what somebody did to you, or talking about your reasons and your intentions and everything except the thing that I came to talk about. So before this gets twisted into something that it's not, I'm grown now. I understand that life is a whole lot different than I did back then. I understand people got problems and that adults are dealing with things that the kids don't even know about. I understand people are trying to keep a roof over their head, bills paid, deal with relationships and disappointments in life. I understand all of that. What I didn't understand was why there never seemed to be room for me to. Every time I try to tell you how something felt to me, it seemed like I ended up explaining why I had to write to feel the way I did. Every conversation felt like I was presenting evidence, like I had to prove I wasn't crazy. I had to prove I wasn't being disrespectful too. Like I had to prove I wasn't attacking you. After a while, that gets old, real old. So eventually, I stopped bringing certain things to you. It didn't stop bothering me. It didn't get fixed, and I didn't just get over it. I stopped because I got tired of leaving conversations feeling more confused than when I walked into them, and feeling like I needed permission to have feelings. I got tired of feeling like every difficult conversation came with a defense team already waiting for me. I don't think you even knew that that was happening. I think you thought we were talking. You thought things were okay because I stopped bringing things up. It didn't stop because things got better. It stopped because I adapted. I learned what conversations weren't worth having and what topics would be going nowhere and what questions would turn into arguments. That's when I just learned how to nod my and then one day you wake up, right? Grown, and those habits are still sitting there. Now you overthinking conversations. Now you're replaying things in your head for days. And now you're explaining yourself 6 different ways, hoping somebody understands what you're trying to say. Now you're feeling guilty every time you disagree with somebody. Now you apologizing for things that didn't even require an apology. You sitting there, right? Wondering where all of that comes from. For a long time, I thought it came from me. Maybe I was the problem, you know? Being too sensitive and expecting too much. I should have kept my mouth shut. Then I started meeting different people and realized something. Every conversation doesn't have to turn into a courtroom. Every disagreement doesn't have to turn into a fight. And every criticism doesn't have to be treated like disrespect. Everybody doesn't get defensive when they hear something that they don't like. Some people actually listen and they actually hear you. And some people can sit with those uncomfortable conversations without making everything about them. And that realization changed a lot for me. Because for the first time, I stopped looking at myself and started looking at the pattern. The truth is, I spent years trying to get something from you that maybe you didn't even know how to give. That's not me calling you a bad parent and that you didn't love me or pretending that there wasn't any good moments. I'm just being honest. Some of the conversations I needed were never had. And the understanding I was looking for, I never found it. Some of those things I was trying to tell you, never made it past your defense system. That had an impact on me, and that's the truth. Not blame or punishment, not even revenge, just the truth. I love you, but love doesn't erase impact, and pretending something didn't affect me won't heal it either. So maybe this letter isn't about charging you with anything, but actually, it's about changing the past. Maybe it's about finally being honest about how I felt living through it. Sincerely, your child. As a parent, how does that make you feel? When your child believes that you are emotionally immature. I'll be right back.
Where the love at? I see black hatred. Come on, brother. Why come y'all still be on that fake shit? Come on, brother. How you black hating on blacks? That shit racist. Come on, brother. If they don't give it back to us, then should we just take it? Come on, brother. Where the love at? I see black hatred. I see it, brother. Why come y'all still be on that fake shit? Come on, brother. How you black hating on blacks? That shit racist. Come on, brother. If they don't give it back to us, then should we just take it? Come on, brother. Brother. Come on, brother. Go. Yeah, each one and teach one. Come on, brother. Go. Brother, you tired of seeing people suffer, my brother. Go, brother. Hey, come on, still in that emergency state. Go read at the date. If we don't get our act right, it just might be too late. No longer the wait, it's about time we elevate. I know you love to talk down and debate, but how we gon' find a way to keep the kids from getting hit by bullets dead straight on the switch of a gun that didn't fuck up the aim? Don't trip, I'm still pulling up on Saturday at 2 or even 2:30. Big mouthpiece back to clear up your vision, cause I know it's been getting blurry. They say that boy ain't funny, and he's strictly good vibes only. COC money land, and SG is still the homies. Don't forget every other mental health money that come pull up on me. At about 2:45, we can't go live like it's us only. Surely but surely, old boy said he my dog, but this I heard he been hating on me. Hey, hold up, homie, come on, brother. Where the love at? I see black hatred. Come on, my sister, don't you know you are destined for greatness? Come on, sister, put big brother mouthpiece in your playlist. Come on, sister, with your twin husband, see that's tasteless. Come on, sister, where the love at? I see black hatred.
Tonight, I'm gonna do something a little different. May I have your attention to the screen? Thank you.
Dear child, when I read the part where you said, I never knew when I was actually going to be heard, I'm not going to lie, that hit me a little different. From where I was standing, I probably would have told you that I was listening. Hearing you say you never felt heard tells me those are two different conversations. When you're the parent, sometimes you think listening means or fixing the problem means explaining yourself. What I realized, you just wanted me to hear you. If I'm being honest, there were a lot of times in my life when I felt like nobody was hearing me either. There were times like the whole world expected something from me and nobody was asking what I needed. That doesn't excuse anything. I'm just trying to explain where my head might have been. The hard part about reading your letter, I was focused on everything I was carrying you were carrying. I didn't see that as clearly as I should have. When you came to me with hurt, I heard blame. You came to me looking for understanding. I thought I needed to defend myself. No parent wants to hear that their child felt unheard. That's a difficult thing to sit with. I can't go back and change those conversations, hear them differently. I can sit here today and admit something. If that's how I remember those years one way, you may remember them another. Your experience is still your experience. Maybe that's where this conversation should start. Not with me defending myself, but with me finally being willing to hear what you've been trying to say. Sincerely, your parent.
The child learns the lesson young. which conversations aren't worth having, which topics are going to start an argument, what questions are going to spin the block on them and say, you got it, and keep it pushing. The child over there explaining themselves 3 and 4 times before they even make a point, apologizing for disagreeing with other people. Now they get nervous when they have to bring up something uncomfortable.
The child sitting there replaying conversations in their head, trying to figure out if they said something wrong. The whole time they're thinking something is wrong with them.
So the question I want to leave is this. Have you ever spent years expecting understanding, support, or accountability from somebody who simply didn't know how to give it? If you have, what changed once you finally realized that?
Because sometimes the biggest thing that changes isn't the other person. Sometimes it's finally understanding what you've been dealing with all along.
Here's the part that people got to hear. Understanding somebody's struggle doesn't erase the impact of their behavior, but both can exist at the same time. You can understand somebody and still acknowledge how it affected you. You can love somebody and still be honest about what hurt. I think that's what this letter was really doing, telling the truth, not looking for revenge or to embarrass anybody or to put somebody on trial. Just finally being honest about what and how and why it felt that way. And that's not always easy. So the question I want to leave sitting on the table is this. Have you ever spent years expecting understanding, support, or accountability in somebody who simply didn't know how to give it? And if you have, what changed once you finally realized that? Because sometimes the biggest thing that changes isn't the other person. Sometimes it's finally understanding what you've been dealing with all along. I'll be right back after this.
She don't chase, she conjures, speaks in stars, walks in thunder, got moonlight in her bones, burning sage while she moans. She got oils on her dress, truth in her tongue. A yes is a blessing and no makes you run. She don't sugarcoat spells, don't whisper soft lies. She'll read you the filth and kiss between sides.
Hey family, it's me. Glasses on and glasses off. However you know me, I'm honored to be the face behind the Blended Healing Realms podcast. Every week we talk wellness, energy, and real life steps to grow through what we go through. Pull up a chair, grab some tea, and if you want to keep this energy going, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok at Shamaka Essentials. Same vibe, more ways to connect. I'll see you there.
Blacker than I ever been, despite the lies and fine print behind the devil's grin. See, I was told our skin was sin, they told me this was punishment. But I feel like I'm sunning a mitochondrial evidence of a victim. I took each affliction as character building. Now look at a nigga, something to...
Before we get out of here tonight, let me give y'all a few things to think about. First, stop walking into every conversation hoping this is finally going to be the one where they suddenly understand, the one where they finally hear you and take responsibility. Listen, if it happens, great. But if you've been trying to have the same conversation for 10, 15, 20 years and it keeps ending the same way, stop setting yourself up to be disappointed every single time. Another thing, stop over explaining yourself. Some of y'all are writing full essays trying to explain a simple feeling. You don't have to do that. Say what you mean, say it respectfully, say it clearly, then leave it there. If somebody wants to understand you, they will. If they don't, another 30 minutes of explaining probably ain't going to change it. Here's another thing. Learn when to exit the conversation. Every discussion does not have to be finished. Every disagreement does not need a winner. If the conversation starts going in circles, getting disrespectful, or turning into something completely different than what you were talking about, it's okay to say, you know what? We're not getting anywhere right now. And leave it alone. Pay attention to patterns. Stop being surprised by people who keep showing you who they are. If every conversation turns into an argument, it's a pattern. If every concern gets dismissed, that's a pattern. If every discussion somehow becomes about them, that's a pattern. Once you see the pattern, you can stop walking into it blind. Another tool, trust your own experience. Stop waiting for the family to vote on whether your feelings are valid. Stop it. Stop. Stop waiting for everybody to agree with what happened before you allow yourself to acknowledge it. If it affected you, then it affected you. Period. Full stop. You don't need a committee meeting to approve your feelings. And finally, find people you can actually talk to. People who listen without turning it into a competition. People who don't get defensive every time something uncomfortable comes up. People can hear you and they can hear your perspective without immediately trying to shut it down. Sometimes the biggest lesson is realizing healthy communication actually does exist. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about fixing somebody else. This is about learning how to stop carrying things that were never yours to carry in the first place. It's about recognizing the pattern, understanding the impact, and deciding you're going to move differently moving forward. Ashe, ashe.
I want to leave you with this. A lot of people spend years trying to get something from somebody that they may not know how to give. That's a hard thing to come to terms with.
Think about how much time people spend trying to be understood, trying to be heard, trying to get somebody to acknowledge what happened, trying to get somebody to finally say, you know what, I see it now. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't.
The reality is that everybody doesn't grow at the same pace, look at life the same way, have the same level of self-awareness, never deal with things that happen to them.
Sometimes people really just need a safe place to finally say the thing that they've been holding for years. I will read your letters. If you send it, I'll read them.
Sometimes the hardest part of all of this ain't even what actually happened. It's the fact that it was never said out loud. No clear moment, no real explanation, no this is what it was. Just a shift. And now you left holding pieces trying to understand something nobody ever took the time to explain to you.
My loves, before we get out of here tonight, I want to leave you with this. A lot of people spend years trying to get something from somebody that they may not know how to give. That's a hard thing to come to terms with, because a part of us keeps hoping that maybe if I explain it one more time, maybe, just maybe, if I use different words, or maybe if I stay calm enough, maybe if I make them understand how this affected me, then something will finally click. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But what I don't want is for you to spend years waiting for somebody else to become who you need them to be before you allow yourself to move forward. Think about how much time people spend trying to understand, trying to be heard, and trying to get somebody to acknowledge what happened, trying to get somebody to finally say, you know what? I see it now. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. The reality is that everybody doesn't grow at the same pace. Everybody doesn't look at life the same way. Everybody doesn't have the same level of self-awareness. Some people never deal with things that happen to them, so they carry those same issues into every relationship they have. That doesn't make them monsters, and it doesn't make them evil. It makes them human. But being human does not erase the impact they had on other people. And I think that's where a lot of families get stuck. You can understand somebody's story and still be honest about your own. You can love somebody and still acknowledge what hurt. You can have compassion for what they went through and still recognize what you went through too. Those things can exist at the same time. So if tonight's conversation connected some dots for you, good. If it helped you understand yourself a little better, fantastic. If it put words to something you've been trying to explain for years, even better. Because at the end of the day, this conversation wasn't about blaming parents. It wasn't about picking sides. And it wasn't about deciding who's right and who's wrong. It was about telling the truth. Sometimes telling the truth is the first step toward understanding what you've been carrying all these years. As always, if this conversation spoke to you, drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them. I go back and read them again. A lot of times somebody else's story helps another person make sense of their own. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for being willing to have conversations that a lot of families avoid. And thank you for continuing to show up at this show week after week. Dear friend, you've been quiet long enough. Maybe it's time. Good night, and I will see you in the next episode. I should be putting Dr. Dre on. Doom, doom. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. There I go. Listen, trying to lighten it up a little bit. Emotionally immature parents. That's the topic. Bring it back. Have a conversation about it at your table and see where it goes. Hopefully it gave you a different perspective on things. I know it gave me a different perspective. Be well, stay safe, Ashe, and deep bow. See you soon. Be well.
If this hit home for you, don't just keep it to yourself. Drop it in the comments. And if you're not the type to put it out there like that, I get it. You can hit me in the DM or send it through email, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Dear friend, you've been quiet long enough. And if you're really listening to yourself right now, you already know that. So maybe, just maybe, it's time. Until next time, be well, stay safe, deep bow, and ashe.
Now we're not doing that today. Pick your head up. You already know what it is. Let's go.
I had to talk to myself different, tighten my vision. No more waiting on a sign, I'm the one that's been missing. Ain't no handouts in the city, just decisions and pivots. Either you run it up or watch it, that's the line, I pick it. I had to talk to myself different, level my mind. Had to cut the noise off, they was wasting my time. I ain't chasing nobody, I'm just chasing what's mine. And if I said I'm locked in, then I'm staying on grind. Look, I done sat in them rooms where they doubted my presence, smiling in my face but was counting my seconds. Like I wasn't built for it, like I wasn't destined. Now I'm talking to myself like remember the message. You ain't come this far just to fold under pressure. You done seen too much just to move any lesser. Had to cut ties, yeah, that pain was a lesson. Now I move solo, but the vision getting better. No sleep nights, had to bet on myself. Ain't nobody coming through to invest in your health. Had to get up on my feelings, put that pain on the shelf. Now I'm stacking up my wins, I don't measure by wealth. I measure by growth, by the way I respond. Used to react quick, now I move like a dime. Everything I went through just been making me strong. Now I'm talking to myself like keep going, you on. I had to talk to myself different, tighten my vision. No more waiting on a sign, I'm the one that's been missing. Ain't no handouts in the city, just decisions and pivots. Either you run it up or watch it, that's the line, I pick it. I had to talk to myself different, level my mind. Had to cut the noise off, they was wasting my time. I ain't chasing nobody, I'm just chasing what's mine. And if I said I'm locked in, then I'm staying in. Facts, I was moving too loose, had to tighten my circle. Everybody ain't solid, that loyalty verbal. They be clapping for you, but be praying it's hurtful. So I move with intent, every step gotta serve you. Had to look in the mirror like what you gon' do. Keep repeating them cycles or break them in two. You got power in your voice, better speak it, it's true. Or you letting fear decide everything that you do. Now we don't do that. This that stand-up energy where your roots at. This that I don't need permission, now I prove that. This that hunger in your chest, you can't mute that. Every loss turn a page, now I'm writing it right. Every scar got a story, now I'm wearing it light. Ain't no fear in my walk, I done been through the fight. Now I'm talking to myself like you built for this life. Don't fall now, you're too close. Don't doubt now, don't close. Everything you needed, always been inside. You just had to see it through a different lens this time. Talk to myself different, tighten my vision. No more waiting on a sign, I'm the one that's been missing. Ain't no handouts in the city, just decisions and pivots. Either you run it up or watch it, that's the line, I pick it. I had to talk to myself different, level my mind. Had to cut the noise off, they was wasting my time. I ain't chasing nobody, I'm just chasing what's mine. And if I said I'm locked in, then I'm staying on grind.